How do you overcome challenges that are inevitable on the path of entrepreneurship or bringing about change in your organization? Hi, I'm Anika, and this is episode 30 of Rewrite Your Story. In today's episode, I'll be sharing insights and learnings from my journey in the corporate world, where I came across various events and situations that I was trying to bring about change in, followed by my journey on entrepreneurship, which was also strewn with several challenges. Now, some of these challenges are inevitable for any entrepreneur and any change maker. Knowing about these challenges can help us be better prepared and address them, increasing our chances on the probability of success or getting to the end of the line. Today's episode will highlight the top 3 challenges that I have identified based on my journey so far, which can be helpful in preparing yourself as you are on your paths of entrepreneurship or change makers in your organization. This is also going to be the first of a 4-part series. The next 3 episodes will cover strategies on dealing with these challenges so that we can increase the probability of success at the end of the line. So let's get started. What are these top 3 challenges which are inevitable for anybody on a journey of entrepreneurship or change? I've identified these as first, starting with the fear of starting. We get strewn with how do we get started on something new, or how do we propose something new within an organization? If we get off that starting point, then we get challenged with managing all of the daily stresses that come along this unfamiliar path. And then we also get complimented with failures or things not working out and having to deal with those undesired outcomes and lifting ourselves up and rising up from that failure. So let's talk about, why do these challenges come up for us? See, our education system, which we are all products of, provides us with the foundational knowledge across various subjects, which help us survive in the world. In school, we learn language skills. These help us to engage, to interact, to exchange our thoughts, our opinions. We also learn about science theories, which gives us an understanding of why things exist the way that they do. We also rack our brains with math models to gauge how to measure and quantify things in life. As we move beyond high school into higher education, our interest in subject areas or our chase to be successful sets us on a particular career path that we choose for ourselves. What most educational institutions don't teach us or prepare us for is change. They don't prepare us the change that comes on the path of entrepreneurship, the change that comes up on the path of moving up the corporate ladder or bringing about improvements within the organizations that we may work for. What they do train us for is to follow instruction on how to do a job well, how to move up in the organization with the validation from others, our managers, our bosses, our supervisors, our peers. We get trained on seeking permission and being assessed by others. So when we want to change this status quo and choose a path of entrepreneurship or being a change maker at our organization, it's a bold and a courageous move. A move that is going to set us down a path that is unfamiliar, that is going to set us into a space that is really new with a lot of unknowns. And despite our well-defined intent and our drive to start this new business or bring about this particular change in our organization, we don't make it. We don't make it because certain challenges are inevitable and we're not prepared enough to overcome them. Now, here, I just want to clarify that I'm not talking about the business challenges like cash flow, human resources, or operations, but I'm talking about the personal challenges that you and me face, challenges of self-doubt, of burnout and fatigue, of resilience. The top three challenges that I have identified, which anyone and everyone on either of these paths gets faced with, is first, that fear of starting or proposing something new. All kinds of questions come up for us. Will I make it? Does my idea or my proposal have legs to get to that finish line? Our minds and our personalities, based on the path that we may have taken so far, is trained on validation from others. So we actually struggle with self-belief and question our own self-worth. So we struggle with finding validation within ourselves. If we get off the starting point, what then happens is we get faced with daily stresses. Becoming an entrepreneur or a change maker in your organization is a bold and courageous choice, one that is going to be faced with a lot of resistance. Resistance from outside and resistance from inside. The path, no matter how thought out it may be, will have to face an unknown challenge or more on a daily basis. So the mental strength that is required for facing this daily resistance easily causes fatigue and burnout. I've been there a few times now. It's not fun. So if we don't acknowledge it, if we don't manage it well, it really pushes us to just stop. What also complements these daily stresses is a lot of failures that we may face and experience along this path of change. Remember the first time that you learned how to ride a bicycle, or when you learned how to drive a car? You probably fell off the bicycle a few times. You probably took a wrong turn when you learned to drive, or you nicked another car in traffic, or you probably even failed your first driving test. I did. I failed it twice. But after a few times, you get it. You know what are the challenges that are going to be on riding a bicycle? What are the challenges that are going to be on driving that car? We learn by repetition. Repetition of doing something again and again. And every time that we do it, we don't start from the beginning. We start from the point where we faulted and we learn from it. We learn from that previous time. So failure is inevitable whenever we get on to a new path. We can't predict everything. There's going to be a lot of unknowns there. We do not have a crystal ball. What will help us is knowing that we are going to fail and be okay with that. And instead of calling it a failure, let's call it a limitation. We're limited on that particular skill that is required to move forward from the point that we are at today to the point that we want to get to tomorrow. And there is learning in that. It's only a limitation which can be addressed, which can be improved upon by learning where we went wrong. It's an opportunity to identify our limitation, not our failure. So, fear of getting started, managing daily stresses, and rising up from failure. We're going to address all of these three challenges over the next 3 episodes with strategies that have helped me along my way of bringing about change in the corporate world when I was a part of it and as an entrepreneur. So stay tuned for the next 3 episodes where these strategies can help you too. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.